We're live. I thought it would be an interesting time to start the show, bring it kind of like our monthly thing back, because with the GOP convention, the Libertarian convention going on at the same time in two different states, it's pretty much a shit show on both ends.
True, but I mean, can the Libertarians ever live up to the guy who got naked?
True. Yeah. It's weird because that guy kind of got kicked out of a party from what I hear. He's now going to like the alt-right movement.
Well, to be honest with you, if you're a libertarian, you basically are part of the alt-right anyway.
Yeah. Well, I have a special intro for the rest for pretty much us and everyone viewing right now.
Awesome. Let's do this then.
Here. Big.
Fucking massive. That's what I am.
I'm guessing there's one part of him that isn't quite so massive, but yeah.
Yeah. The video was actually in context 4 minutes of him saying why Milo shouldn't be banned. He basically repeated the same phrase and like paraphrasing each sentence why Milo shouldn't be banned. Like, you get what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah. He's juicy. He's fucking juicy.
Yeah.
Know about that guy? Oh yeah, and he's a twat.
Yeah. I have also an older video for my doppelganger. You know who I'm thinking of?
Rocky Mr. E.
Yeah.
Really? The man of substance abuse.
Yeah, substance. Yeah. This one I thought was actually particularly funny. This one was. There we go.
Hollywood is a nest of leftist vipers.
Oh yeah. You know, his intros are always good because there's something mental going on. My favorite one was, "Is the United States a communist country?"
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant. You fucking mad bastard.
The EDO supports him.
Of course they do. Yeah, he's a mental racist. Of course they do. Yeah.
Once upon a time, Hollywood had many conservative heroes of the silver screen, like John Wayne and Chuck Norris. A lot has changed over the years, and this truly began after the fall of Joseph McCarthy. Despite popular...
It was such a shame that Joseph McCarthy fell, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, real shame, yeah.
Positive force for America. Also, there are still conservatives in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Which I want to get, like...
Bruce Willis is basically a fucking ANCAP.
Fucking Chuck Norris also, and, what the hell is that guy's name again?
The guy from Frasier.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of the director of, who's talked to a chair. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I know I also love about this fact that like Milo was going on about months ago, like how he's the new embodiment of McCarthy. McCarthy hated homosexuals.
Yeah, exactly. And Catholics.
Yeah.
Opinion, McCarthy never challenged the subversion of Hollywood by communists, although leftists pretend otherwise. A lie that's recently been repeated in the movie Trumbo, where communists are painted as repressed victims that preach sharing and equality. Decades after the demise of...
No, hang on. It wasn't just that they were repressed. It was that people who weren't even communists were repressed as well.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't call it a witch hunt for no fucking reason.
Yeah, but in the movie Trumbo, they were communists.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but I get your point.
In a democracy, you're allowed to be one, aren't you, really?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
You'd be lucky to be given a job or a part in a Hollywood production if you don't conform to the insane progressive ideology that makes up the modern social justice warrior agenda. It's a sad state of affairs as Hollywood increasingly releases movies and TV shows so bad that it's impossible to appreciate them on any level. But what's so different about today's Hollywood compared to the past?
That's such a good thumbnail, all of it.
I know. Oh,
The leftist influence in Hollywood was usually too subtle to ruin a movie or TV show, or at the very least, there were enough conservative voices to balance this out. Sadly, those days are almost completely gone, to the point that the movie adaptation of Ayn Rand's best-selling novel Atlas Shrugged received no Hollywood backing, a tide of leftist media criticism, and a concerted effort to keep it out of cinemas.
well, okay. The problem with the movie was it was 9 hours long, divided into 3 parts. It came out in a 3-week period. And it was like the film was so bad. Fox News hated on it.
Also, well, yeah, not just that, but also it's a free market, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Which is not quite true because Atlas Shrugged, the film was produced by News Corp, Fox Media. So, like, what the hell is it getting from? It's not like produced by a mainstream news company or like media, whatever.
Well, clearly, the
Yeah.
News Corp is SJW
Yeah.
organization, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. We'll get to that in a little bit with a different video, actually.
Okay.
Designed to sabotage this movie about Rand's scathing criticism of the left. More than ever, one voice dominates in Hollywood, as artistic creativity is gradually destroyed by pandering to the ideology of social justice warriors, or SJWs.
Okay, like most of the films that are targeted to like audience or ideology are so fucking bad. All of them are. Zeitgeist is bad. Addendum's bad. Ayn Rand's bad. There are a few others that are based off of Ayn Rand's work that are bad. The film they did about Hitler's life is bad. All of them, they're all bad.
Not just that, but aren't these the same sorts of people that keep going on about, oh, you shouldn't try and put ideology into art and blah,
Yeah,
blah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same. It's another double standard. These people at the end of hypocrisy goes on for hours.
God, yeah.
Oh, so I want to get on which is also another film that's pretty right wing that like fuck what I can't remember its name. It'll come back to me. I'll as a complaint probably.
Big Mama's House?
There's a right wing film that came out recently, and like they were making all this fucking noise. It's like it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be horrible, and it turned out being actually being really good. And I can't remember what it was.
Ghostbusters.
No, it wasn't Ghostbusters. It was like, and it wasn't 100. It wasn't 27 Hours by Michael Bay. It was like some film about a rock or something like that came out recently.
No clue, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why it's escaping my mind.
Purposes, these ideologues are the spoiled children of decades of cultural Marxism.
Oh, I remember now. It's Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
Yeah, they made a lot of noise as these kind of people about that film, which was okay. It wasn't great, but it was passable for a film.
I didn't see it.
I was gonna say, okay.
Indoctrination in society. As the entertainment industry increasingly fails to stand up to these cultural appropriators, we can see just how unimaginative and dull leftists are. Modern
Fucking coming from the guy.
Well, not just that, but if we're so dull and unimaginative, how have we been able to sustain Hollywood?
Exactly, that's my point. And this
Most
is
productive, creative place on earth. Brilliant.
I know.
Hollywood is becoming just as artistically repressive as the former Soviet Union, where
God almighty. You fucking mentalist. What's wrong with you?
everything about society had to be shaped around socialist ideology. This repression was called socialist realism, which is merely doublespeak for total control over all thought and expression.
Which is such bullshit because some of the Soviet films, like science fiction wise in the 50s and 60s, are the biggest influence in the West. West's like capitalistic franchises like Blade Runner and Star Wars and like Clockwork Orange and other, like a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah. Hello? Matt, are you there? Hello? Hello. 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 Hello.
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same stream. It's like the cut is going to transition from where we left off.
Okay.
Okay, back to the blocking Mr. Ego.
Cool.
Created a frightfully bland Soviet culture where nothing could divert from the party line. And in the Soviet Union, there was only one party line.
Well, there were actually multiple communist parties within the Communist Party.
Yeah, it's a little more complex than just that. Yeah.
Party. Leftist monoculture is what's slowly killing Hollywood, strangled by SJWs that refuse to respect consumer choice or economic forces like profit and loss. As SJWs incessantly moan about lack of diversity in
these fuckers don't like these fuckers moan nonstop about like the same shit like in reverse. It's like I said it last time, I'll say it again on my own channel. For like these neo-masculine types and MRAs and PUAs and MGTOW fucking bitch and complain nonstop about masculinity when itself they're complaining is the most unmasculine thing you can do socially, I guess.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's precisely the point,
yeah. They are the ones killing diversity by funneling all artistic expression through the filter of their ideology. This SJW bullying usually involves trolls on social media.
Free Milo.
Yeah, exactly.
Or media mouthpieces that are now almost completely sympathetic to cultural Marxism. Shallow
What are you talking about? What? There are no people. Well, cultural Marxism isn't a thing. Just shut up.
It's not. Well, it's a thing to them. It's not like it's like a paranoid pipe dream.
Yeah.
Are quick to play along in a bid to raise their profile by promoting the latest fashionable cause. This leads to the most cringeworthy behaviour from limousine leftists and champagne socialists that led to attain narcissistic supply by feeding off the frenzy of the mob.
Like you do a Gamergate.
Yep. Precisely that.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett announced they would not attend the 2016 Oscars in protest against the lack of black nominations. They were then followed by Dustin Hoffman, George Clooney, and other virtue-signalling celebrity narcissists getting behind the Oscars So White hashtag on social media, including Emma Thompson, who said that you either wait for all the old white men to die or kill them off slowly. But is diversity in Hollywood...
Well, and clearly she wasn't joking about that. Clearly, that's so obvious that she literally meant that we should kill all the white people. You fucking disingenuous little prick.
Such a mental case.
Celebrities suggest. Not at all. In fact, for Oscars in the last 20 years, 10% of Best Supporting Actors, 20% of Supporting Actresses, 15% of Leading Actors, and 5% of Leading Actresses were black. When you compare this to the percentage of the US population that's black, this is 12.5%.
I looked those numbers up. You know where they came from?
The fucking KKK.
Breitbart.
Oh, so I wasn't far off then.
under the 12.8% of the US population that's black. This means the number of black people receiving...
Well, I was just wondering, is Breitbart, like, was Andrew Breitbart American or a citizen of the United Kingdom?
I think he was American, wasn't he?
I don't know, because I think he was American, but Breitbart's now owned by a British conglomerate.
Well, of course it is, because as with all things, we try and colonize wherever we go. No, but yeah, he was born in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he was from Los Angeles. He actually died in Los Angeles, and these Breitbartards claimed that the CIA took him out.
Of course they did, yeah. Because he was such a relevant figure.
Exactly.
Almost exactly the same as the proportion of black people in the population. This is what you'd expect in a country based on merit instead of a neo-Marxist ideology where absolute equality is the only standard. We all know...
Neo-Marxist? What are you talking about, you dickhead?
Obama. He's talking about Obama being... That's what he's pretty much implying, Obama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's such a neo-Marxist.
Exactly. Oh my God.
You know, he's followed basically the exact same economic policies as George Bush.
Exactly.
At least those that recognize the truth that these complaints have nothing to do with diversity. Will Smith and other black actors and actresses are just annoyed that they've been snubbed in 2016 for subpar roles. Certainly in the case of Will Smith, his entire career has very little of note other than cliched black roles, although in the spirit of fairness, I will praise his performance in The Pursuit of Happiness. This aside, for multi-millionaires like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett to get on their soapbox and moan about racism in Hollywood.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror yet again. It's a fucking projection. I love Rocky Mysterigo's videos because they're just so insane. I was howling the first time I saw this a week ago.
Well, I love watching the he's done a few sort of hangout things with the South African guy whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, and Sargon, Sargon and Bernard Chapin.
Yeah, he's mental. He's a fucking mental, guys.
Oh my God.
When they've become so successful in countries founded by white people shows just how disconnected from reality they are. In modern Hollywood, words like diversity and equality are weasel words for no straight white males.
Oh my God, it's so dumb.
It is ridiculously dumb, yeah.
Something that should be puzzling to the less informed is how the left believes equality isn't achieved until a minority of the population is represented by 50% or more. In the case of people identifying as gay, bi, or some other genderqueer adjective, they're around 3% of the population, despite...
Actually, I looked that statistic up, and that one came from Red State.
Again,
yeah.
not far off the KKK, then. Okay.
Yeah.
The contrary, but looking at TV and films emanating from
this is where it gets golden right now. This is the golden build-up to like his ridiculousness.
Anyone would think they're a majority of the population, partly because any straight character could come out at any time. This is where we now find ourselves with modern film and TV. The straight white male is either completely absent, totally inept, utterly subservient to women, or could suddenly become gay. Take Poe
a picture of fucking Star Wars, The Force Awakens, or should I call it The Farce Awakens?
Indeed. But is he going to give any examples of this?
No, he never does. He does at one point, but I don't want to spoil it for the people watching.
Okay.
Movie Star Wars The Force Awakens. Often mentioned by those refusing to accept the movie's elevation of diversity over plot and character development, it now appears that even Poe is one straight white male too many, since leftists in the press are pushing for Disney to turn him gay.
What?
that slipped past me. I've not seen that, to be honest. But...
No, I actually looked that claim up. No results. 0 search results came up.
Oh, well, what a surprise. He's ridiculous, isn't he?
Yep.
To get you excited about the new diversity-obsessed Hollywood, then you also have the remake of Ghostbusters to look forward to in 2016, where all the Ghostbusters are now women. Little to no footage of this movie has been revealed almost 6 months before its release. It appears that the Force Awakens factor is being employed here, where critics will universally praise the movie before anyone gets a chance to buy a ticket and realise how bad it is.
Well, he was wrong there.
Movie you never even seen either of them. A lot of these turds kept saying that who reviewed Star Wars: The Force Awakens actually claimed in their articles and blog posts they never even watched it.
Yeah, David Sorini did a review.
Bruce did that, Bernard Chapin, Forney, the whole 9 yards. Even Molyneux. No, Molyneux saw it, but he did a bad job reviewing it because of his own bias.
Yeah, well, and they've done the same with Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
It's a shit film. I haven't seen it, but it's a shit film. You think you haven't seen it? You can't. Why would I trust what you have to say? You dickhead.
Yeah.
Also universally praised, Mad Max Fury Road in a similar manner.
Aaron Clary.
That was a good film, though.
It was, yeah. It really was. They're actually releasing a black and white version sometime this summer.
Well, that's racist.
You know what I meant.
Well, you were insensitive in your wording, clearly.
Movie where Charlize Theron's character constantly saved Mad Max while helping young women escape from white male rapists and slavers. The feminist propaganda inserted within a deluge of explosions, stunts, and car crashes. The combined critics' score on website Rotten Tomatoes gave it...
Rotten Tomatoes? Oh my god, it's a tomato.
That's how we pronounce it, all right?
I know. I think in America, like I knew a guy used to do that. I never thought he was a prick.
100%. Something that's...
I'm being a prick.
Yeah. Actually, what's been fun, they've passed this thing in, the police are doing this thing in Nottingham.
Yeah, I know.
The catcalling, whatever.
Yeah, it's illegal.
To see the Americans talk about it has been really, really fun and annoying because they pronounce it Nottinghamshire. And, oh, God. Don't try, you fucking assholes.
He's ever made don't achieve. Not that reviews and ratings can be trusted now that leftists have found ways to manipulate them wherever possible. In this diversity-mad world, we even have called for a black or female James Bond, because until every character is something other than straight, white or male, true equality can never be achieved in the mind of the SJW.
Okay, well, let me break it down. Sean Connery, not the guy Sean Connery, the guy who wrote the Bond novels actually stated multiple times that 007, James Bond, is not the actual character. That character's name and number is a code name. Like a
that's why he's able to change actor, because it's the code name for the agent.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a different person every time, yeah. So it could very well be a black person, yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, those books were written in Jamaica, so...
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I think only 2 of them were.
Oh, okay. Well, the GoldenEye, for instance, was the name of his estate in Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah.
This is even possible when half the population is male, most people are straight, and most people are white in predominantly white countries is a mystery to anyone that doesn't understand this anti-Western agenda. I wonder if the same diversity quotas will be employed in India's Bollywood or countries without a white majority.
What a dumb fucking statement.
Well, this is such a nonsense, because obviously the core of his argument is wrong.
I know.
The characters in most of the films are, at the very least, ambiguous sexually and white, if not heterosexual.
Yeah, with even a lot of Japanese and South Korean films that are like big budget are actually now importing actors from Europe and America to be in them, to play like Americans and Europeans. Like there was a Japanese action film that came out last summer, and they had Steve Buscemi in it as a walk-on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they have to choose like the most ugly white man in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Your breath. This is Rocking Mystery, over and out.
Oh.
Well, he's one of God's special little people. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yep, he is. No, the last week, that was the only older video, but the last week, there's been a lot of crazy, insane shit with the Nice attack and the GOP convention and Milo. I'm just waiting for just an insane, crazed kind of like media blowout from these idiots.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of reaction to all of that. That's been pretty crazy. But from my perspective, it's sort of fun because
it's free content. Yeah, like content to be fun.
It gives me a lot of material. Yeah. Oh, Davis, straight away. I don't even need to see a word or hear his voice. This is the D-bomb all over.
Yep.
There's the fucking world. God, he's such a pretentious cunt. He hasn't even spoken, and he's a pretentious prick.
He thinks he's like in a fucking Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah. Oh God.
Wait, this video is fucking all of them are funny, but this one's even funnier.
So this here is going to be a short review of Rushdie's latest book, Free Speech Ain't Free. And folks, you need to buy this book.
You realise you're shilling for a bloke who isn't white here.
I know.
Does this class as white genocide? This movie, this film there, not film, video. I think it does. I think under their description of whatever is against white people in any way whatsoever, this is white genocide.
Well, Roosh recently claimed that he's a white man inside. Seriously, you look it up on Twitter. He said that.
But I love it because he hangs out with white nationalists. He even went to a white nationalist meeting with David Sorini, and they wouldn't let him in.
I know.
Because you're not white, you twat. And that's fine. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but just accept it.
Exactly. Oh.
Trying to pretend to be a white person, you're not. It's ridiculous.
Free Speech Ain't Free is a record of the Battle of Canada and the battle to have the international meetup. First, which our side won.
How the fuck he won? No one showed up, and the governments around the world canceled it.
Yeah, several countries banned him from entering the nation, and they were cancelled. So what victory was won there? You know
what idiotic poo really disappeared from the media?
Actually, do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the Black Knight from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Where he's had his arms and legs cut off. It's a flesh wound. I'm going to kill you.
I was thinking, like, Roos is like Julian Blanc and Roos are very similar on a lot of levels. But Julian Blanc seems to disappear from his kind of like the media of his idiocy.
Well, I think he was sensible enough to realize that he was playing with fire.
Oh yeah.
Back. Whereas Roosh, I don't think has the mental capacity for that kind of introspection.
Bit of a stalemate, one in some places, lost in others. But it's not just a recounting of what happened. The book is also about the philosophy, the politics, the ideas behind this. Okay, it's a book of action, of actual strategic action, taking on these degenerates and what's going on behind the scenes, what Roosh learned from all of this. Now I was on the front lines for the second battle. And even then, I didn't know everything that was going on. So I picked up a few things from this. You might think you know everything that happened, but you don't. Everything that was going on behind the scenes, the organizations, the operations that they were enacting to get this stuff done, it's all in there. But more importantly, what
I want to know in terms of the planning was how did they come up with that genius code of where's the pet shop?
Well, where's the pet shop is a code for like mafia casinos in the 50s and 60s.
Oh God!
So they're if you like watch kind of like the early works of Dean Martin, or like playing gangsters in movies like Frank Sinatra, you're like, where's the pet shop? over there, and he like opens the back door, and they like go into like secret casino. It's like it's a thing they do all a lot, like an old, very old gangster films from New York City.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, that's well, I don't know if it's necessarily a coincidence or whether that's that shows what they think of themselves. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, look at Arini. He thinks he's like some kind of mafioso right here with his black suit and idiocy.
Yeah, drinking his coffee in the desert. Just go away.
Because here's a question for you folks. How is it that these SJWs, these absolute weakling, degenerate, obese, sickly cowards, how is it that they have
Your former boyfriend.
Burn.
the men of neo-masculinity, of the manosphere, of the alternative right, hiding and being forced to run in terror from them?
Because there are none of you.
Exactly. They're fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Ugh.
SJW's coming after you. Yeah, you could take the entire mob, but you're not going to. And why is that? How is it that these weak people are suddenly so strong? This book meshes very well with the evolutionary psychology behind politics, and I would presume
Which has
I haven't had a
been
chance to
pretty much conclusively shown to be a lot of old bollocks, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Go with the pseudo.
Yeah.
That works. Yeah.
Yeah.
yet SJWs always lie. I strongly recommend you pick up this book.
Says the man who did fraud on the internet,
Yeah.
allegedly.
No, well, I'm not even going to say allegedly. It's pretty obvious that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to say. I'm only saying allegedly because I don't want to get sued by this fucker.
I don't really mind. Fuck him. Has he even got the money to fucking sue anyone?
Exactly.
I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that are going to be saying, Roosh is a PUA, Roosh is a degenerate, Roosh is a kebab, or whatever. Guys,
I like the fact that he's a kebab is a legitimate criticism in this man's eyes.
I know.
Like,
Like,
he's going to try and explain that away as if that needs to be explained.
he does eventually. He does later in the video.
What?
all right, myself and plenty of other men that know him are quite convinced that he is doing God's work.
Isn't this guy hot in a black suit and hat like that in a desert? Like,
Oh, he's got an icy cold heart, so he's probably
yeah. Yep.
Is speaking the truth. And as for he's a degenerate.
Well, exactly. Well, you wouldn't have to accept that he's a degenerate because you'd have to accept that you are too, because you cheated on your best friend with his wife.
How did the information get out there? I've been trying to look into it and I can't find any like links to back that up.
Oh well, he certainly admitted to it.
Oh,
I don't know how it was first released. I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
Trusting libertine up until recently. We're all degenerates. If you're not a degenerate in this age, it's because you're sitting home and playing World of Warcraft all the time, so you're still a degenerate. So, this guy's fighting our side. He is one of us, and he's one of the people that is taking the fight to them, and he's winning.
How's he fucking winning? Oh my god! Like Dr. Oz destroyed him.
Yeah, he is, and you are, Davis. Nobody's.
What's even?
I mean, I'm not too, but I don't claim to be. I'm not here sitting there going, "Who taken to the fight to the SJW, he's winning." No,
Wait, I'm confused. Were you? Someone told me that you were featured in an article of the London Times of the bullshit with Sargon and Jess Phillips.
Was I?
Yeah, there's a caption about you in there because she tweeted you back.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Well,
I don't-
if someone wants to send me that link,
Yeah, I
that'd
don't
be
have it because I don't want to pay for it. But like, that's what someone told me. So I couldn't like actually get past the paywall because I didn't want to pay for it. So I don't know if it's true. That's what I'm asking
Well,
about.
I'll have to look that up because that would be pretty awesome.
If you want to be an active participant in this battle, if you want Western civilization to survive, you need to read this book. Link down below. Deus Volt and Viridian.
You've got questions, I've got the answers.
What a cheesy no.
We support you on Patreon instead of getting a real job. Wait. Of course. I'm I was looking at the book he has in the corner of the New American Bible.
Oh God.
Wait, no, it's multiple Bibles. It's the New American Bible, the official Catholic Bible, the Red Letters edition, and the Chronicles of World Prayers of some year.
Well,
The next one is gonna be a little more funnier because it's from a certain individual Christian who we paid a lot in this ridiculous monthly extravaganza.
Mario.
Yeah. Which is weird because he actually has a very different stance than usual on this particular video.
Is this going to be him sucking some dick then or something? What?
No, I wish. Maybe.
Oh, look at the beard. Oh, I've got to say.
Well, I wanted to record this vlog here in response to the events that just took place in France with this horrible terrorist attack. You know, we need to come up with solutions so that we can prevent events like this from happening. So what I'm proposing here are stricter truck laws.
That's all the idiots on the right have been saying stricter truck regulation. As like some kind of stupid satire.
Yeah. Oh, is that what he's doing? Because it's difficult to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure that no one can get their hands on trucks because trucks are the problem. You know, I thought we needed more gun control and that would really solve it. But you know what? I just realized now we need truck control. You see, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity.
I don't get how in his videos when he has his face it always looks like he's like waving like the video picture.
He's just oh God.
Like,
Sure, we don't need truck control. We need devil Illuminati control, don't we?
Exactly.
You know, unfortunately, to speak a message of truth to you here.
Look at the picture. It just wobbles. You see that? Like.
No, I can't say I do. I'll have a look.
Problem with big deaths like this, tragedies, terrorist activity, is not guns. You know, previously, every single time, it just so happened that the killer used a gun. Do you see how this story proves to us that if an individual wants to kill, they're gonna kill? They can get their hands on a truck, they can get their hands on a hammer, they can get their hands on absolutely anything that will murder. There are so many different murder weapons.
Anything can be a weapon, but it's a common right-wing argument. Anything and anybody can use anything as a weapon to kill someone. Yeah, of course. But like,
well, okay, but do explain to me then the countries that have fewer guns, why there isn't why they're not just using other weapons to kill people.
True. Which is
why is it that all the countries with fewer guns have fewer murders?
Well, the problem is that in this day and age, if you want a gun, you can just buy it legally off of Amazon. I think Amazon needs to be held accountable for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I looked into it. You know, not the November attack, but the attack
January.
In January, they used they bought guns off of Amazon.com Monday shipping.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
In this event, it was a truck. So let us not fall for this ridiculousness in the future when the future attack happens with a gun to think that we need to attack the guns. It's the guns that are the problems. No. And if those of you who are so gun laws, you should logically and rationally react to this event by trying to go out there and put more truck laws out there. Because a truck was the murder weapon. Because somehow...
Oh my God, it's so fucking stupid. It's painful to watch. Look at the paranoia in his eyes.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God. No, they recently in the United States are trying to ban stores from selling helium.
Right.
Because helium tanks can be used to make a pressure cooker. So like this fucking assholes on the Libertarian Party got together like restricting blah 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 helium tanks will cause a shortage in balloons and comedy for people.
Oh God.
It was all over the American news. Like this guy's
have we tried turning America off and back on again? Because it seems to be not working very well.
Yeah, exactly. They tried that before in 2002 with the blackout, but it just made things worse.
Hey.
Do you remember that blackout on the news?
Yes, it was reported widely, yeah. Because we were all like, fuck, if the richest country in the world can't get its fucking electricity sorted. Jesus Christ.
Neutral objects like trucks, like guns, they are the actual problem, not psychotic people. No, it's we need to start taking away gun privileges from law-abiding citizens, right? So I wanted to make
the whole fucking argument with the Second Amendment, it says literally in the first sentence of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated gun, like something, I forget the words.
Yeah, to maintain a well-regulated militia.
Yeah, well-regulated.
Not Billy Bob and his mates. Shooting.
Exactly, yeah.
here because it's an actual clear example that there's just so much foolishness when it comes to so many of these other terrorist attacks and how they just use.
Apparently, when I was doing research into the truck attack in East, the guy wasn't radicalized. They actually said he was like on a drug bender for like 24 hours straight.
Well, a lot of them do. It seems very odd, doesn't it, that a lot of them, for instance, then one of the 9/11 attackers was at a strip club the night before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, how are they? Like, if they're strict Muslims or whatever, why are they doing this? This seems really peculiar.
Like it basically says that when you in like very radical Islam, it says in the Quran, when you commit your act of violence to convert people, you're immediately your sins from the day before your life are cleansed.
Oh, so you might as well go for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Coke hookers, the work. Fucking have as many bacon sandwiches as you like. It's awesome.
To push more gun laws and restrictions and stuff like that, which is their agenda. They're trying to take away your guns. They're trying, and who is they? The elite, the rich, the ones who really do run the country. The whole point of the Second Amendment is because there was a tyrannical government trying to control the people, and the Second Amendment was put there so that the people would protect themselves against a tyrannical government.
That's such a false argument in the modern world.
I know.
You and your handgun are not going to stop the American army and its nuclear.
Drones, tanks, like.
Yeah. If the American government went tyrannical, you couldn't stop it that way. You can stop it by being a diligent citizen and voting for people who care. That's one way you can stop it. But you and fucking Alabama Bob can't fucking stop any guns. Yeah, exactly. You and the Oregon militia aren't going to do a fucking thing.
No. I'm surprised they didn't get rid of those guys out there, crack down on them faster. Well,
actually, I was discussing this the other day. It made sense to a degree because if you think back to, say, the Branch Davidians, they were very straightforward, and it ended up being a massacre. And the US government did not look good going in and just killing its citizens. So from that perspective, just let them, just starve them out. Fuck it.
I said in my video when I made that video, they're just gonna dissolve into infighting and obscurity after like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Exactly. They didn't even bring snacks, idiots.
No, fucking bring a snack. They fucking had to go on Twitter, bring snacks.
There's a tyrannical government today trying to brainwash you through propaganda to take away your guns. And they've seized every opportunity in the media of a story where someone gets
I just noticed that. He must have the camera in his left hand then, mustn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
With a gun to go and take away our rights, the Second Amendment in the United States of America. And I just wanted to really clarify with this example that it is pure and utter foolishness. We don't need more truck laws. We don't need more gun laws. People are crazy and people will kill regardless. It doesn't even matter. That's just...
I have a feeling Margaret's...
Well, why have we got murder laws then? Because if that's not going to stop people murdering, why do we even bother?
I have a very strong feeling Margaret's going to go postal in a few months or years.
I wouldn't be surprised, but with a beard like that, I could forget.
How it rolls. So have a blessed and wonderful day. Stay vigilant. Fear no evil.
Fuck you.
Okay, here's a good one. Did you see Karl Rove getting harassed by Alex Jones?
Oh, the ultimate fucking right-wing sumo fight. Let's see it. God. Oh, it's already good.
Okay, folks, Karl Rove is on the same flight with us to Cleveland. We're here in Dallas. I'm just going to go over and ask him a few questions.
He's like a journalist.
Hey, Carl, man.
Nice to see you, sir. How you doing? I'm having a conversation.
Oh, I saw that.
With some friends.
I was just answering your question.
No,
Are you going to back Trump or no?
You're filming this for your program, and I work for Fox.
Or are you just siphoning money off make sure Hillary wins?
So I'm working for Fox. So thank you.
You're working for Hillary?
I'm working for Fox, so I'm not going to be appearing on the Alex Jones.
Okay, no, but seriously, so he doesn't back Trump. All right, there you go. And we knew that, folks. And normally, if it was a university student or something.
Once again, you're distorting the facts, but I appreciate it. And
What I love is
what I've told you is, I'm working for Fox. If you want me to appear on your program, you call Fox. And I know you don't think the rules apply to you. Alex, you call Fox.
the rules don't apply to me. So call Fox. Well, I do have an audience almost as big as Fox now.
Call Fox.
So 1 year will be better.
Oh, I know. Call Fox. They're important guy. Call Fox. I'm sure that will.
No.
I'm having a conversation with friends.
I do.
Would you mind wandering off? I'd like to finish my conversation with my friends. Are you important to my friends?
No, I'm not saying more important. Get over here 5 months ago. He wants to win the argument. He can only win the argument once he controls the argument.
Oh God! Just leave him alone. I mean, I can't believe anyone would ever make me feel slightly bad for Karl Rove. But he's
That's
just,
what mother said.
yeah, it's just leave him alone. He doesn't want to talk to you. You can't leave him alone.
There was actually part 2 where he is on the plane walking the aisle. Karl Rove, we need to talk. We're not streaming this live. I'm having a recording on my phone. Just talk to me. Then this and the maitre d's coming in. They're like telling him to fucking sit down. You don't touch me. Don't touch me. Your status agenda. And like,
Yeah, he's a mental
there's
guy.
part 2 of this where it's not live. It's like pre-recorded with him harassing Karl Rove on the plane going to Cleveland.
Well, did you see? I don't know if you've got anything upcoming, but there was a fantastic thing we covered it last night, didn't we?
I looked. The video quality of it's horrible.
Yeah, the KKK, the Westboro Baptist Church, and Black Lives Matter throwing.
I read an article I read from the Telegraph. This was Code Pink.
Oh, Code Pink. Okay, throwing urine at one another. After starting a sort of semi-riot at an Alex Jones event. What the fuck? What? That's an amazing piece of imagery. I mean, that sort of sums up American politics, really, doesn't it?
Yep.
Throwing people throwing piss at each other in the streets.
Yep.
2008, and like he did in 2012. And that's what he does. Here he is right here, talking to these little delegates and people. The super delegates, they hoped they could get the siphon off the votes, but he failed. So this guy's going in as a failure at Cleveland, unable to steal the election from Trump. He wouldn't talk to him for 4 years after. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be lots of this once we're in Cleveland. We had to talk to him, obviously. And he played this little game. I waited 5 minutes when we talked to these folks. I knew as soon as he came over, he'd be like, these are my friends. You know, you're interrupting them while they try to talk to me. Well, they're just my little friends. This is the guy that supported Bush and the assault weapons man. This is the guy that pushed amnesty. This is the guy that's a globals. These are the people that hijacked the Republican Party.
I feel like at this point, Alex Jones people hijacked the Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly. You and your acolytes have fucking done that, you dick.
The Clintons and the Bushes vacation together. They call themselves brothers and sisters. And listen to whoever. Hey, Carl, I'm going to leave you alone. I appreciate your time. Do you consider yourself a family member like the Bushes do with the Clintons? Is he a family member with the Clintons? You know, no need to be. Do you consider the Clintons a family? Why don't you wander off?
Well, I love the fact that he went up to him, and as he was approaching him to intervene again, he says, "I'm going to leave you alone."
Yep.
No, you're not. You just put your arm on his fucking shoulder. Leave him alone.
Karl Rove called him a jackass.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's you're a prick when you make Karl Rove look like a decent person.
I know.
We're good.
No, you're not good. You're really bad.
Did you see Aaron Clary's new podcast clip and went on SoundCloud and then it got like put on YouTube? I feel for people.
No, I have not seen it. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, let me just get this up in a second. It's really weird when you have you noticed when you download Aaron Clary videos to make fun of, they have a really weird compression rate.
I've never noticed that.
Like
I've downloaded a lot of his videos.
Yeah, like the file shape of the video is like oddly proported.
No, he's just an ugly bastard. That's how that works. I know he looks misshapen, but that's just the shape of him.
No, I'm saying look at the file. It's like square instead of like rectangle. It's in standard instead of wide.
Oh, what the wow? I don't know. I don't know. I like the idea that he thinks he's high IQ.
Yeah.
The latest news coming out of Venezuela surprises no one who has a basic understanding of economics, let alone common senses. However, it did jumpstart a question that had been lurking in my mind before, and I'm surprised I hadn't thought of it earlier.
This is Aaron Clare speaking, so I'm wondering what the fuck did he do to his voice?
That's not him, is it?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, this is him.
It says nothing like him.
I don't know. Apparently, in the description it says Aaron Clare is speaking written essay on his podcast. So I don't know.
Okay.
He couldn't put like voice modulating software to make him sound deeper or like lower, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it. Yeah, okay.
Socialism/communism only for white people? And by white people, understand, I mean really, really white people. Because if you think about it, the only place socialism has worked, sorta, is the Nordic countries. Latino, Hispanic Venezuela, Ecuador, and Bolivia have all gone through large swings to the left and only have a shortage of toilet paper to show for it. Chinese communism, again, not white, only managed to kill more people during peacetime than any world war ever did. Its smaller Oriental siblings of Vietnam and Cambodia certainly didn't make a good...
Why is he comparing these places if they're doing the same thing? Chinese communism.
His argument socialism only can work democratically in a white society.
Yeah, but that's... Well, I don't think it's ever really been tried.
No, it's never... No, exactly.
But why is he comparing Chinese communism to Nordic social democracy?
Because Aaron Clare is all the same.
Yeah. A leftist can be anyone from a absolute, totalitarian communist, Stalinist, all the way through to a vaguely liberal person.
Again, not white, needed both Soviet money and easily duped 1980s American kids' monies not to starve. Greece. Greece. And even the Soviet Union, though pretty darn white, and even the original practitioner was just not white enough to pull off communism successfully. Apparently.
Okay, he never actually brings up the French Commune, which I would say is full-fledged communism was successful, but extremely short-lived.
Or the agrarian.
Agrarian societies in Eastern Europe. A lot of them were horrible, in East Ukraine. The Slavic areas were at least tolerable for a very long time before they collapsed. I'm not talking before. Not talking about the Bosnian. I have certain relatives from the area. They said before the breakdown happened, it was at least bearable in some parts. Yeah, so I don't know, but those people are not white, quote unquote, to him.
It's just racist trash, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But he gets really fucking diluted in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So I wanted to do the takedown of his progress into madness, kind of the falling into the black hole that it is.
Oh, don't say black hole. That he wouldn't like that.
Exactly, yeah.
It's only the Swedes, Finns, Norwegians, and Danes who can do socialism the justice the rest of the world can't. But why? First, we need to take out the obvious outlier of the group, Norway. Again, the left loves rushing to Norway as the perfect place to live.
Mainly liberals. It's mainly liberals.
Yeah, it's not socialist, it's social democracy.
Yeah.
It is, especially since it has so much oil, its sovereign wealth fund makes all of its citizens millionaires. And remember, oil is evil.
Not all of its citizens, very few of its citizens are millionaires, you idiot.
Unless it's under a state-owned enterprise, then you never mention it. Second, are they really socialist? Depending on the country.
Depend on socialism, because every socialist country varies from a nation.
Yeah.
Yet the government only spends 45% to 60% of GDP, leaving a whopping 55 to 40% of money in the private hands of those rat bastard people. Not pure socialism by any stretch of the imagination. And then let's not forget.
It was earlier. You just said that all of these different countries were all socialist.
Yeah, I know. He contradicts himself a lot in this video, but the last 2 to 3 minutes, it's major contradictions.
Well, should we skip to that? Because I think we got the basic gist of what the fuck we're talking about here.
Largely hate them, or at least view them for the easy marks they are. Regardless, this willing dupiness is necessary for a socialist economy to work. Everybody has to willingly value society more than themselves in order to work at the slave-like tax rates necessary to finance a communist or socialist state. The Swedes, Norwegians, Finns, and Danes on the whole are more than willing to do this, while the Greeks, Russians, Venezuelans, and pretty much the rest of the world are not. This is why sort of socialism works best in Scandinavia, and pretty much nowhere else. But the thing I really get a kick out of is what this spells for our beloved Western SJWs.
There we go. Then right around now, it goes really into madness.
Academians, professional protesters, faux millennial intellectuals, media types, and social frauds, social scientists.
What was the thing Christy Winters always brings up about social people who deny social science or yet are willing to jump on some other academic science? I forget what it was. She said it was.
Yeah, well, they do this all the time. They're very selective about things. It's almost as if they've got confirmation bias to the extreme.
Yeah.
That's what they've got. Yeah.
But there's like a certain science that like appeal to more. Like it's like a route to like a fallacy, a biology fallacy instead of social science, which is more based on the agricultural society of what's happening in your culture instead of like the biological standpoint. Because there's like selection theory and then there's sociology theory. And selection theory goes into K&R theory, and selection theory goes into basically any kind of like social science that there is today.
That sounds interesting, but I don't really know what the hell. I've not heard her say that, so I don't.
No, I'm not saying she said that. I'm saying that that's what she was talking about. Like,
oh, okay, right.
World of cognitive dissonance. Because along with the constant drumbeat for socialism and enslaving the world's population, there's nothing more these people.
Whoa! Where is there a drumbeat for enslaving the world's population? I've missed that one.
So have I. These people are fucking delusional. Like.
Then diversity, and the insistence there's no such thing as culture or race or ethnicity, which ironically would be diversity. And these two things, socialism and diversity, are mutually exclusive.
Not true.
Yeah.
A lot of social states, be it from even social democracy.
Hello. Hello. Is this still going? I don't know. Let me just check if I can find Matt on the thing. I'll just type in angry bastards into the.
And we're back.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, I got some Wi-Fi carriers in my like area, like right next to me, so like because this apartment just drops horribly with Wi-Fi.
Damn you, New York.
No, New York has the worst Wi-Fi in the country. They say statistically.
Oh wow, well, that's mental. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Wow.
Unless you're a really, really white person, you simply have too much self-respect to vote in your own slavery. You're not working for other people, you're nobody's slave, and you're going to try to keep as much of yours as possible. Of course, this won't prevent you from voting for socialism anyway, because you think you're special, that you won't have to actually be the slave and pay the taxes. That's for other people. And thus, unlike our Scandinavian counterparts, you'll vote for socialism, but won't put forth the selfless work ethic to make it work. Alas, socialist hellholes, like, well, all of them, form. Venezuela.
Socialist hellhole. Did this hellhole?
Yeah.
I'm getting feedback.
Oh, yeah, give me a second. Let me just turn it over. Give me a second. I fucking went to settings, and here we go. Better for you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I was just saying, yeah, he said that all socialist places are hellholes, but didn't he also just say that everyone in Norway is a millionaire?
pretty much. And this Aaron Cleary's also claimed that Barack Obama and the U.S. government is socialist.
Oh, yeah, I've heard him make that claim before, yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Bolivia, the Soviet Union, North Korea, East Germany, etc., etc. All people of all colors of the rainbow just won't take communism, but they'll sure as hell vote it in. And thus, really white people suffer. Latinos in Venezuela, blacks in Detroit, chavs in
What?
I don't know. His fucking
UK, Chinese buried in
Well, chavs are not a racial group.
I know. It's like, oh,
What are you talking? Oh, God, he doesn't know a damn thing.
I know. Fucking idiot.
liberal arts majoring millennials in college campuses. In short, the number one thing in these elitist leftists' lives, their only God, purpose, agency, and meaning in life, socialism, is bound to fail, and pronouncedly so in really white cultures. This is doubly destructive because not only will their ideology fail, but it will hypocritically and disproportionately harm those the left purports to love the most, non-whites. Of course, in the end, I seriously doubt any leftist cares about socialism or non-white people. If they did, then they'd be empiricists and bravely deliver whatever socioeconomic medicine was required to truly advance their fellow human being, no matter how harsh. They instead are...
Your ultra selfish model of capitalism would definitely help everybody, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Ugh.
You're so full of shit.
And Hoffman says that they love the free market until the free market bites them in the ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh.
Well, you can see that with Milo.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah, totally.
The private companies made a decision, and they're so butthurt.
I know. Oh, it's so ridiculous. I have like two more videos. One's from Prager, John Prager from Prager University.
Yep.
So in a similar lines, but it's a little bit different. The similar kind of video. I thought, like, Prager makes such odd videos, and like they've really toned it down in the last few months. Some of their earlier works from a year ago were really fucking insane.
Well, I think they realised the reputation they were getting.
Yeah, bad. I also heard that Ron Paul owns a big share of the company.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard people say that. Like,
In the contemporary world, it's taken as a given that capitalism, with its free market and profit motive, is based on selfishness and produces selfishness, while socialism is based on selflessness and produces selflessness.
No, I don't think either of those is absolutely ubiquitous, is it?
no, and this guy's it's very ideologish. It's ideologish. He's riding the waves of ideology.
Yeah, of course.
The opposite is true. Whatever its intentions, socialism produces far more selfish individuals and a far more selfish society than a free market economy does. And once this widespread selfishness catches on, it is almost impossible to undo it.
Do you have any statistics or like articles or sources to back this up besides talking at your ass?
No.
No, because in some of their videos they do give sources and like links to articles, but bad ones.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. It's going to be religious or alt-right crap, isn't it?
Prager doesn't claim. Prager has said multiple times they're not alt-right. They're neocon. Yeah.
That's probably worse.
Probably, yeah.
Here's an illustration. In 2010, the United States President Barack Obama addressed a large audience of college students.
Apparently he's a Smurf now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
At one point in his speech, he announced that young people will now be able to remain on their parents' health insurance plan until age 26. I don't ever recall hearing a louder, more thunderous, or more sustained applause than I did then. Had the president announced that a cure for cancer had been discovered, it is highly doubtful that the applause would have been as loud or as long. But what were they so happy about?
The not medical debt, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
You know what? That actual speech is the way he labeled it. Not really. He's misrepresented because that statement Brock made was mainly about it was mainly for people who are under 26 who have their parents' healthcare. Mainly, if it only works if your parents are in a union of some kind.
Okay.
So it doesn't work if you're in a private sector. Only if you're like union or a corporatist sector, not corporatist business, but like state-run private industry, like regulated kind of like stuff, like meat or food or whatever, or trucking.
Okay, right. I'm with you.
All that you can now remain dependent on your parents until age 26 should strike a young person as demeaning, not liberating.
That's really fucking manipulative.
Well, yeah, and not just that, but if you're for the economic system that has forced people to have to be, not dependent, but being helped by their parents to that age, you're the problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
American history, and for that matter, all of Western history, the great goal of young people was to become a mature adult, beginning with being independent of mom and dad.
That ideology came right out of the Third Reich, actually.
Wow.
No, seriously, that's like a Third Reich, like a propaganda thing.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure that that's true.
Yeah,
but...
no. Like if you watch the Hitler's documentary, Birth of a Nation, or of or the Reich of Return, or even the 1,000-Year Empire, like Third Reich based films, they literally say your main goal is to at 18 is to become a man and fight for the country, and women to be producing children for the state to fight the never-ending war that is the Reich.
Okay.
Yeah, so the alt-right, being what they are, adopted that principle, not knowing the context of what it is.
Well, in the same way that they use the phrase cultural Marxist, not knowing
Yeah.
came straight from the Nazis.
Yeah.
And the welfare state destroy this aspiration. In various European countries, and now increasingly in the US, it is becoming common for young people to live with their parents well into their 30s and not infrequently beyond. And why not? In the welfare state, taking care of yourself is no longer a virtue. Why? Because the government will take care of you. Therefore, socialism enables, and as a result produces, people whose preoccupations become more and more self-centered.
Hang on.
How fucking living at home makes self-centered?
So, well, exactly, yeah. And not just that, but is he suggesting that America is socialist then?
Yes, pretty much.
Well,
very manipulative.
He's a mental case, and then brilliant.
How many benefits will I receive from the government? Will the government pay for my education? Will the government pay for my health care? What is the youngest age at which I can retire?
Not just that, but the government doesn't pay for those things. You do via your taxes.
Exactly, yeah.
Which paid vacation time can I get? How many days can I call in sick and still get paid? How many weeks of paid paternity or maternity leave am I entitled to? The list gets longer with every election of a liberal or progressive or left-wing party.
Barack, Hillary, Bernie. If you look at the...
Notice he hasn't put George Bush there, even though he nearly doubled the national debt.
Doubled the national debt. And actually, Bush is the one who put forward the idea of free healthcare before Barack expanded on it.
And then each entitlement becomes a right. But we're not done. There are even more destructive effects of socialism. Entitlements create citizens who lack a character trait that every human should have: gratitude.
Okay. I don't know where I haven't seen the whole thing. I don't know where he's going with this, but I think he's going to pull some Atlas Shrugged quotations out of his ass.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You cannot be happy if you are not grateful.
There you go. That's a call from Ayn Rand.
Yep.
And you cannot be a good person if you're not grateful. That's why we constantly tell our children, say thank you. But socialism undoes that. After all, why would a person be grateful for receiving an entitlement? Who's going to be grateful for getting what they're entitled to?
This is like fucking like objectivist crap, like what Jordan always preaches, like forever.
Yeah.
So instead of thank you, the citizen of the welfare state is taught to say, what more am I entitled to?
And what fucking planet? Like,
Yet the left insists that it's capitalism and the free market, not socialism, that produces selfish people.
you don't want to pay for this shit.
Yeah, greed is good.
But the truth is that capitalism and the free market produce much less selfish people. Teaching people to work hard and take care of themselves and others, and that they should earn what they receive, produces less selfish.
Apart from if you're already incredibly rich, in which case you can just live off other people's labor.
Exactly, and not pay minimum wage of $15 an hour, even if that is sustainable with economy at the time.
Yeah.
People. Capitalism teaches people to work more. Socialism teaches people to demand more.
Okay, I'm trying to really think of like the wording he's using. Let me just rewind it just a little bit.
Well, he says it teaches people to work more, not to work better.
Not work more. So he wants you to work harder without pay.
Yeah.
And
socialism teaches people to demand more.
Demand more for your work. Okay, yeah, exactly. Like this guy's being a prick and being manipulative. Like you know which person on YouTube I think is the most manipulative with this crap?
Yeah.
Black IT.
Oh yeah, he's pretty bad.
He's one of my subs. If you're watching this, T, feel free to reply if you want. I don't know.
Which attitude do you think will make a better society? I'm Dennis Prager.
Oh, Dennis Prager. I was
subscribe
John
to
Prager.
our YouTube channel to help.
It seems Dennis. I always thought it was John for some reason.
Well, who cares? He's a dick.
The last video today is a new one from Sandman.
Ooh.
And this one is really insane.
Of course it is. It's from Sandman. Yeah. That's what he does. That's his fucking wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi everyone, Sandman here. Today's video is brought to you by a donation from Mr. Anonymous, and here's what he has to say. Hi Sandman, I was shocked to come across this piece on Tesla, and I would like your take on this matter. I'm also a fan of your God Among MGTOW series, and I look forward to more of them. Regards. Well, Mr. Anonymous, thanks for your donation in shillings for this particular topic. And the link you sent me is the second one in the description. As many of you probably know, I already made a video about Nikola Tesla a long time ago. The first one in my God Among MGTOW series about Tesla and why he was going his own way for marriage. The first link in the description is to an article.
Basically, I've watched a lot of his videos, and the God Among MGTOW is basically men who remained single. They didn't get married. That doesn't make them a MGTOW. They just didn't get married.
No, yeah, exactly. And Tesla was a weird dude. I've read a lot of books about him. See, and there's the movie Prestige. You ever see the Prestige movie?
I have not, no.
Yeah, they implied in the book and also in the movie that he was a closeted homosexual.
It's perfectly plausible that a lot of the men in history who did remain unmarried probably were.
Yeah.
Tesla explains why he will not marry. And in that article, he says that women have become more interested in imitating men and trying to do what we do. And gone are the feminine women that he used to worship, and all that's left are the female chameleons trying to be like us men. The article was written in 1924, but only 2 short years later, he was interviewed again by John B. Kennedy about what he thought about women yet again. And in this article, he says, and I quote, "A new sex order is coming with the female as superior. We will communicate instantly by simple vest-pocketed equipment. Aircraft will travel the skies unmanned, driven, and guided by radio. Enormous power will be transmitted great distances without wires. Earthquakes will become more and more frequent. Temperate zones will become frigid or torrid. And some of these awe-inspiring developments are not that far off," Mr. Tesla says. Well, folks, based on those predictions, Tesla saw that cell phones or smartphones were coming, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, as well as predicting global climate change. He, of course, got long-distance wireless power wrong, as well as the increasing number of earthquakes.
Wrong. Earthquakes are actually increasing by 36% globally each year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. There's net 9 earthquakes, a level 2 to 3 every day, somewhere in the world.
Fucking hell. Whoa, that's way more freak. I thought it was like maybe...
No, there's one... No, they're really small. Like the big ones are happening when the crust like shifts so much that it explodes out of the ground.
Yeah.
But that only happens like every once in a while. But they're small under the earth, like under the Earth's core.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
a good track record. But for this video, I want to focus on the predictions about women that I didn't actually cover in my last Gone Among MGTOW video about Tesla. The link to that video is also the third down below. With regards to women, he says this, and I quote, "It is not in the shallow physical imitation of men that women will assert first their equality and later their superiority, but in the awakening of the intellect of women. Through countless generations from the very beginning, the social subservience of women resulted naturally in the partial atrophy, or at least the hereditary suspension of mental qualities, which we know that the female sex to be endowed with no less than men." So what Tesla is trying to say is that women are just as intelligent as men, but that their intelligence has been suspended by heredity.
Oh my god. I
So
don't.
basically, Nikola Tesla was a twat.
Yeah. But I read the actual full article he's quoting, and then he goes into asking how, like, Tesla then says that, like, women in far in the future will develop full equality to men, and he actually sees it as a good thing.
Oh, okay.
But the way how Sandman is, he took the, like, quote minded to fit his narrative.
He just made him sound like a right dick, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why he needs him to be, because that otherwise he wouldn't be a MGTOW.
Exactly.
Tesla was for eugenics, and if he had his way, he probably...
Okay, so Tesla wasn't for eugenics, but he did believe. Okay, so I did research on this. Tesla was not a racist and didn't believe in eugenics, but he did believe that people who are handicapped shouldn't reproduce out of fear of making more people who are handicapped in the world. Kind of like Richard Dawkins saying, if you have a Down syndrome fetus, abort it, kind of crap argument.
Not just that, but to judge someone from the past based upon faulty
Today's standard is not equivalent. It's not. It doesn't add up.
Yeah, and not just that, but you've got people. You have to account for people like Winston Churchill, who in his early days was a eugenicist. Yeah,
he was.
So you can't. It doesn't make you like intrinsically Hitler to be.
No, exactly. The woman who invented Planned Parenthood, I think, also was a eugenicist at one point.
Yeah, they bring that up, don't they?
Yeah.
That's relevant to the modern day.
I've heard actually Code Pink bring it up a few actually also.
Code Pink are quite annoying in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Intelligent women into society by allowing them to breed like queen bees, while probably sterilizing the ones that weren't bright and inventful. His plan hinges, I believe, on what he's not actually talking about, which is eugenics. At first, I thought he was wrong about what he said, because I found many women online misquoting him to build up their case for female authority. But let me read the next section called "The Queen is the Center of Life" before I continue, and I quote.
The Queen of Center of Life is from a different article within the same magazine press. Tesla had 3 articles in that magazine, but there were separate parts, not to the same article. So Sam is being incredibly intellectually dishonest at this point.
What a surprise. I am deeply shocked at that. He seems like such a fuck off telephone, for God's sake.
Capacity for all the mental acquirements and achievements of men, and as generations ensue, that capacity will be expanded. The average woman will be as well educated as an average man, and then better educated. For the dormant faculties of her brain will be stimulated to an activity that will be all more intense and powerful because of centuries of repose. Women will ignore precedent and startle civilization with their progress. The acquisition of new fields of endeavor by women, their gradual usurpation of leadership, will dull and finally dissipate feminine sensibilities, will choke the maternal instinct, so that marriage and motherhood may become abhorrent and human civilization will draw closer and closer to the perfect civilization of the bee. The significance of this lies in the principle dominating the economy of the bee, the most highly organized and intelligently coordinated system of any form of non-rational animal life. The all-governing supremacy of the instinct for immortality, which makes divinity out of motherhood. The center of all bee life is the queen. She dominates the hive not through hereditary right, for any egg may be hatched into a reigning queen, but because she is the womb of this insect race. So after reading Tesla's words, yet again, we see that he's right about women gaining leadership positions in our society, as Queen Bee Hillary may actually be crowned because the Donald is supposedly running out of campaign funding and no one is stepping up to fill his war chest.
Because everyone fucking hates Big Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's just a thoroughly unlikable, unbackable creep.
Yeah.
Chance that he's going to have.
I do have to think it was really funny when he bought Jeb Bush's domain name for the website.
Oh, God.
You remember that?
Yeah, he's such a little fucking child.
To this Miss Queen Bee. In Ontario, the province I live in, we have now elected a lesbian feminist leader. Our prime minister is also
lesbian.
All these men's rights and mental idiots are from Canada. Have you noticed that? Like,
there are a lot. Yes, there really are.
Yeah, it's something's going on in Canada that we don't know about.
Is praising female superiority. We are now seeing Tesla's vision of the future take hold, except we're not seeing eugenics, or genetic engineering as we like to call it today, come into the fold. Tesla also said that women would lose their maternal instincts, and he was pretty much right about that as well. The modern woman needs a nanny to help her raise 2 kids, while a woman 2 generations ago could raise children better and
Because they didn't have fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Oh.
them at the same time. Mothering is increasingly being imported to Filipino nannies.
What? Yeah, like, okay, that was a very random non sequitur.
Yeah, it's all this stuff about trying to drag society backward.
Yeah, it's back to human C, blah 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 blah, regressive, progressive.
Yeah.
Not that Tesla was sounding like a feminist, but what he's trying to say and predicting is that society will awaken the intelligent woman through some form of biological tampering, and luckily for us, he's been wrong about that so far. But he also says that this will happen as generations ensue. He sees this progress happening over a long period of time and not simply 1 or 2 generations. I've predicted that 80% of politicians will be women in 50 years, and that sounds like a slow generation.
80%? It seems a little high. It might be 50-50. Like more more logically speaking.
Well, it would have to fucking explode from its current position because
Yeah.
it's way below 50% at the moment.
Yeah, and all the GOP guys are white and old. They're gonna die soon, so like I'll be wondering to see who takes their place.
Well, women, but white women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Progress that women are making. He probably understood that once women got the vote, they would basically push to be equal and then superior compared to men. He said that this awakening happened before as well as after the Great War, World War I, meaning the push for the vote and the temperance movement. He also predicted that women would be equally educated and then better educated than men. And we are clearly seeing that on university campuses right now as well. He also probably saw that male intelligence is mostly spread out from very intelligent to very stupid on a wide spectrum. And female intelligence...
Yeah, a wide spectrum, wider, like you can never imagine.
Yeah, not just that, but we know which end of the fucking spectrum you are.
Yeah.
Oh, shallow end. Fucking hell.
Clustered in the middle. And most of them were just as intelligent as the average man and more intelligent than the below average man, thus making them more intelligent as a group on the whole. But what Tesla doesn't touch upon is this idea that men such as himself are the most intelligent and creative, surpassing all women. That's a glass ceiling that women will never be able to penetrate, short of tinkering with their genes and using eugenics. Because I'm pretty sure if we took 2,000 or 3,000 of the most intelligent women in this world and bred them with only highly intelligent men, then that society, if it continued to multiply, would have an advantage over all the others and have dominant women.
Oh my god, it's literally a...
Hang on, but how would they not be able to break that ceiling?
I don't know. And he's
literally A, because he was obviously something of a genius, but because he was given all the social advantages that a rich man at that time had.
Yeah.
So a rich woman in that time, in the equivalent of, you know, a matriarchy or whatever, would be able to do just as well, it would seem.
There's a really interesting science fiction book about a matriarchy written in like in the 20s. I can't remember what it was titled.
Okay.
I might do a video about it. I was thinking of doing a video about it in a few months, but I'll look into it. Like, it's just like it would be interesting. It just came to my mind.
And as an example of a place, because for most of its history, men and women shared power. Now I want to talk about this idea of our modern world as a beehive. If you examine how a beehive is structured, then there's one queen on the top, and below her a few hundred male drones, and then below that you have 40,000 or so female worker bees. This is not what we're most likely going to experience next year if Hillary Clinton gets elected, because she'll be at the top with a few hundred male, mostly advisors, and then an army of affirmative action women working in different government branches and positions below that. But Hillary is no queen bee, and I don't think there'll ever be one.
Humans are not fucking insects.
Yet.
We learned that the Theranos female CEO is a liar and a thief. She was hailed as the next female Steve Jobs and wore turtlenecks very similar to his. What if
just like Jobs, she wore turtlenecks. God.
Nothing. Women want to be queen bees and they expect men that have built up corporations and businesses to simply step aside and let them take over. The Ontario provincial leader is saying that 40% of top government and company positions will have to go to women in the future. But we're never going to see a woman out there start an awesome business that changes the world. It's simply not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. He knows this. How? How
I
does he
don't
know
know.
that?
He's a Nostradamus. He's predicting what he doesn't know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
A woman can't be queen bee unless she sets up her own hive. The males out there with their own hives aren't just going to hang.
There is a meme. This is making me think it's really funny of like how Hillary Clinton, Nicola Sturgeon, and Angela Merkel all look exactly the same, and as like they're like alt rights passing around saying like the clones of the Illuminati.
Oh God.
I saw Molyneux had that on Twitter a few days ago.
Well, of course he did. It was mental. Of course, Molyneux went for it.
No, but I was talking about that with a friend of mine, but like a few days ago, like it's really funny how the alt right hasn't made the comparison yet, and like 2 days later, like what happened? Like
Yeah.
Over on a silver platter. If they're forced to by the government, they'll simply walk away like John Galt. But again,
Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, what a surprise.
I was right about women becoming as equally educated as men.
I read a lot of Ayn Rand's books in the last year, and I was not really impressed. The only one I liked out of all of them, Fountainhead the most.
I've only ever read Atlas Shrugged, to be honest.
You only read it. You said you did or you didn't.
Did.
Yeah, okay. It's long. It's really. I think it's too fucking long and tedious.
It's shit. It's too long in as much as it was ever written.
And then surpass.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, as I mentioned with education. 2 years before this article was published, he was singing a different tune in the Texas article, which is the first link below. If I was around back then, I would have told him to basically snap out of it, and that giving women power was a bad thing, and that equality would be a failed experiment. But he was 65 years of age back then, thinking about his legacy. He probably didn't want people to remember him as a misogynist, and so that's probably why he said what he did. He knew that
it couldn't be that he genuinely wasn't, or that was how he saw the world. No, it was only because he didn't want the world to see him as a misogynist. Yeah. The mental gymnastics of these people is
fucking astounding. Like John Other's wife or whatever, like whatever she is.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think they're married, but yeah, Diana Davison.
Oh, someone told me they were married.
I'm not sure if they're married. They're certainly together.
Yeah.
And yet again of giving women power. Just like we forgot what happened in ancient Rome, Sparta, and even Babylon. Once women gained the lead...
Do you have proof of that, for fuck's sake? Do you have any sources?
Yeah, exactly. How did women take control of those societies? Because I don't think they did.
Roles soon after everything crumbles because they become like greedy children. Like Augustus Gloop in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Oh my god!
Well, he reads all the important books, doesn't he?
Yeah, Willy Wonka, Augustus Gloop's Chocolate Factory, Atlas Shrugged.
Although to be fair, I would probably put Roald Dahl as a better political philosopher than Ayn Rand, to be honest. If I was
Roald Dahl was a right-wing fucking turd. He was. Have you ever looked at his background? He didn't like children. He wanted children to die.
Well, I'm with him. Fuck him.
Well, the chocolate, or in this case, cash and prizes, like a vacuum cleaner. But what is Tesla thinking promoting this idea that women should be in charge? I think it stems from his own self-imposed sexual repression, and because he was more interested in changing the world than fulfilling his own sexual and reproductive desires. He also seems to have regretted not having children. I remember reading that at one point. He also wished he had a family. It could have been a future where he played it safe, because that's what I believe he was doing at this point in his life by basically taking women's side. Imagine a world where he could have become a swimming instructor, married Pamela Anderson's boobs, and lived on happily ever after. This
married her boobs? What?
Fuck, I don't know.
Picture shows us what Tesla Hasselhoff would have been up to on Long Island beaches back when it was still safe to go into the water. There's an interesting episode.
What the fuck is he talking about?
No, he's mental.
Star Trek The Next Generation that someone recently sent me a link to called The Tapestry, and I'm putting it in the description below as the fourth link. In that episode, Captain Picard regrets that he didn't play it safe for life. Imagine if someone made a film or played with the same type of premise showing the world without Tesla. No computers, induction motors, and no internet. I guess he would have needed a Q-like character to take him into the future where he didn't exist and where he got married and had children and probably helped women get the vote a lot sooner. Tesla was a gambling addict and a hustler, so I don't think he ever would have played it safe and married. He liked to live the dangerous bachelor life. You have to look at things back then differently. From his perspective, women were just starting to enjoy great progress. It's like when you learn to do something new. You make tons of progress at first, but then over time it gets more and more difficult to improve yourself. It all becomes about increasing diminishing returns for your effort. He was blind to women being able to achieve the same things as men back then, because at that time in history they weren't given the same opportunities, because they had to be baby factories for the species, except the women.
So, and this is the core, right?
Yeah,
Of
pretty much.
male supremacist bullshit.
Extrapolate
It built up.
women follow men's lead, they would be like us. But now we know that's a complete lie. He got it wrong with regards to female creativity. Without a woman can't be a queen bee in a capitalist system, except perhaps Oprah. In a different style of government, but under our current system filled with...
Oh my god. Oh my
Well,
god.
that's the thing. He's basically saying women can't do it, even though he has no evidence.
Fucking explain like Malala and so many other fucking. Oh my god, it's like so fucking. It's like that literally that sentence me in my brain like turned sideways.
Yeah, well, he's an arse.
Yeah.
competition, she can't.
Well, what really funny about Sam is that Aaron Clary doxed him.
Did he? I missed that one.
That happened. I think in September that happened.
Oh wow.
Also once said this, and I
That
quote,
seems strange because there's quite a lot of overlap in their thinking.
I know.
an inventor of the first order and would, I believe, have achieved great things had she not been so remote from modern life and its multifold opportunities. She invented and constructed all kinds of tools and devices and wove the finest designs from thread, which was spun by her. So once again, folks, Tesla was probably basing his opinions on women because his mother was semi-brilliant. That's like him comparing his inventing abilities to all the other ordinary men on the average street corner. There was simply no comparison because he wasn't the average man.
What a fucking illogical fallacy that is.
Well, it's sand, man.
It is.
This is part of the problem with the internet, is that as great as it is to have all this freedom to do, to say whatever you want, it means that people who were previously just that nutter that everyone knew, like the crazy guy at the office, now he's got 100,000.
More like a street preacher in a subway who now gets a YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like G-Man. He does that. He preaches in the subways. Have you seen those videos of G-Man preaching in Midtown?
I have not, but I can imagine because he's a bit mental.
Yeah.
For making craft tools and mechanical appliances. But should we really compare home appliances like the stove to the induction motor or radio? Certainly not. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for today. Thanks again, Mr. Anonymous, for your thought-provoking topic as well as donation. As for everyone else out there, please follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills. And remember, a red pill a day keeps the swim instructor Tesla away. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.
Worst sign out ever.
No, I think this episode's a little more cringeworthy than the other episodes we've done.
I think very possibly so, but we're just getting back into the swing of it. We had a little break. We're back into it.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Pip, pip.